You know those two guys from work who won't shut up about football, but are pretty damn entertaining? Well, they decided to buy a couple microphones. And with that, we welcome you to the CheesyCorn Sports Podcast, where Justin Adams and Martin Cheney wrangle over everything college football and NFL. Bold predictions, hot takes, and live game reactions. This is CheesyCorn Sports.
What is going on, Cheney?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
Good. Kick us into the introduction here.
All right. Welcome everybody into CheesyCorn Sports. I'm Cheese, that's Corn. And today we're going to be going over week 2. Week 2 of the NFL season. It's no longer the first week, right? Now we get into some of the more intricate parts of the season where week 1 overreactions are done and we get to see what we actually, the predictions become a little bit finer. You know what I mean? We start to grow the sample size for this year. We talk a little bit less about, what happened last season. It's now this season.
Yep.
Justin, what you got?
Well, first things first, week 1, injury-wise, was brutal for me. You too. I remember you mentioned you too. So I think that's my biggest stressor going into this week is just how I'm going to deal with these injuries. Exactly. Derek, actually, it's my fault that we didn't start on the dot. So that was all on me, buddy. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm just ready to get into it, and hopefully we can come up with some alternatives for my lineup. So that way I know what to do with my lineup because I still haven't figured that out yet. So,
all right, we got some sleepers out there today that I'm ready to unveil.
Let's hear it.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Did you want to cover college football today or?
Yeah, I mean, well, there, as far as that goes, Nebraska won. So everybody.
Great. Consider college football covered. Nothing else needed.
No. Celebration. My air horn's not working. God dang it. I was trying to hit an air horn on the broadcast. No, but overall it was a fun Saturday of games. You had the exciting Colorado game at the end of it. I had the Nebraska game at 4. Early slot was not that entertaining, but yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing too noteworthy that happened. So, I will say though, Wisconsin should have lost to Georgia Southern. If Georgia Southern didn't have 6 turnovers, they would have lost to them. So, I was hoping somebody else would take the heat off us and lose to somebody who was terrible. But we got a dub, so that's all that matters. Nebraska got a dub.
Yeah,
Texans getting one today.
Yeah, Derek brings up a good point here. Ready?
Yep.
Bama looked like doo-doo, and Florida beat Tennessee. Would have also been nice to see Florida State lose. Really hard to disagree. I don't know what the hell Bama's doing at quarterback. I feel like they're in like this kind of like, I don't even know the word for it. Maybe like a Super Bowl hangover type thing, where like you had like 3 to 4 good to great quarterbacks, like back to back to back kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's that sudden drop off to like where it was before the days of like AJ McCarron, right? And you're just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on at quarterback. That team they're not exciting to watch. You're looking at safeties and DBs getting just ran the fuck over by like Southern Florida running backs. Like that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, the two things that always made Alabama football was their defense and their run game.
Yep.
And then over the past like 5 seasons, it kind of like shifted to this whole like quarterback and wide receiver tandem, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if they really are grasping the fact that they may need to return to their roots of what got them to that like college elite prowess. I mean, Bear Bryant, like they've always been at that elite prowess type thing, but like at least in recent memory, at least what put them at the top.
Yep. Yeah, it's for them. I mean, their quarterback got benched, I think, in the second quarter in that game.
Yep.
For them, I feel like they're in a transitional period for once,
Yep.
where they have to bridge the gap at QB. They've been lucky to be successful enough to have run into QB after QB after QB at the talent level they had.
Hmm.
But I think right now they're in that situation where they're finally in a transition. They don't have a guy ready, and they lost a lot of talent. I mean, they lose a lot of talent each year on that team,
Yep.
so they're bound to have a year here and there where they slip up or they'll miss on a QB or something like that. So it doesn't seem to me like it seems to me like they were more confident in the quarterback position coming into this year than most, because most fans said that would be an issue. And so far it has been. I don't even know if they scored a touchdown with the starter in there. And then, yeah, what they scored
I don't think
17
so.
total even. So it wasn't even that much better when he came out. So I expected a down year from Bama. I had him at 9-3
Yep.
coming into the year,
Yep.
and lost to Texas A&M, and somebody else. But yeah, that's my take on it, man. I just think I think they're very talented, of course, just like every year, but they're not. They don't have the same. They're young, and their quarterback position is just they're not sure what to do with it right now. When you don't have a good quarterback, or when your quarterback position's in flux, it's hard to just be able to, you know, throw somebody in. It's hard to be able to just win when you have the quarterback you don't trust, and then you're trying to rely on your second, third strings, and so they
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see how the QB position plays out over the next year or two, though.
For sure. For sure. Florida beating Tennessee. Absolutely love to see it. I love all things SEC chaotic.
Yep.
So Florida beating Tennessee was
I will
great.
say on that one too, Joe Milton, for Tennessee,
Yep.
he was getting a lot of flack yesterday, and I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I mean, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's good enough. I think he's serviceable, but I think the Tennessee fans are jumping on him. But it was, a lot of the offensive line in that game. It was a lot of them just coming out flat. The offense was out of sync, so it just seems like unfairly. I mean, Joe Milton, for what it's worth, he's like I said, he's a good quarterback. He will never be like a championship winning quarterback, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But yeah, the fans were on him yesterday, and I think that Tennessee team is just not as good as they thought it would be. Let alone not only just a quarterback, because I thought they were going to be. I thought last year that they were overrated. So
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought they were better last year than they are this year.
I just tried to drink this with a cap on.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Tennessee fans they got a taste of the good life last year.
Yeah.
Beating Alabama, seeing the whole Herndon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt type
Yep.
connection, and I think it went to their heads because
Yeah.
now they're expecting every single quarterback to go out and be able to throw 5 touchdowns against fucking Alabama. So I don't know. Maybe Tennessee. Let's remember who we are, and yeah, remember your place. But yeah, okay. Let's get into some the reason that we're here.
Yes, sir.
National Football League, the No Fun League. Let's do it. We already have our first question. You want to take questions now, or do you want to get through some games and then take them? Like,
Let's answer the people's questions.
let's give the people what they want. All right, Aiden said, I think I said that right. Said, who should I play in my flex this week? Brees Hall, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Algier. This is PPR. I'm assuming it's only one flex. So you got to pick one out of these guys. Ooh.
I'll say so Brees, my thing on Brees Hall, he's on a pitch count
Yep.
in New York. They that is, he's going to get his. He's very efficient, but it's just a matter of, if he has an off game and doesn't have a lot of opportunities to get in a rhythm, then that's going to be tough. So, not a big fan of Amari Cooper this week, or many weeks. Judy's back. off the injury report. So Judy, I'm very confident in Judy. Out of these four, I'd probably pick Jerry Judy. Algier being another good option because I feel like Atlanta is, the way they divvied it up last week, it's almost like Bijan is the guy who's just the playmaker, and then they bring Algier in to, clean up the dirty work or come into the goal line, stuff like that. So I think Jerry Judy for me. I love Brees Hall, like as a player and everything. It's just that snap count. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I would say Judy, and then Brees Hall, then Algier, then Coop.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Amari Cooper came up midweek on the injury report, and it wasn't like, oh, he was limited in practice. No, it was like straight to questionable, just kind of out of nowhere. I don't know what the update is on whether or not he's playing today yet, but you said it perfect with Brees with the pitch count. Algier, like when it comes, like Algier's not a bad play in my opinion. However, when it comes to your starting lineup, especially in week 2, right? You want volume. Volume is king, especially in PPR. Targets equals points. And I think with Jerry Judy coming back this week, I feel like he probably could have came back last week, but they played it safe, and I think that was probably the right move for the season long type thing.
Yeah, agreed.
I would pretty confidently say Jerry Judy out of these 4.
Yeah, especially with their luck at the receiver spot. They don't want to risk it.
For sure. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into some of these games here. I got ESPN up here, so I'm just rolling from the top down. That is why you are going to see this specific game at the very top. This Packers and Falcons. Green Bay at Atlanta. Atlanta is 1.5-point favorites. Justin, to avoid any bias, throughout it, I'm gonna let you kind of take this one over.
Okay. So Atlanta to me is very much a one-trick pony. I have a hard time picking them to win any game because I've yet to see them. I don't know. I don't trust them to play from behind. So waiting for a couple games where they have to play from behind, see how that passing offense actually looks. If they even use it at that point, I'm of the notion that team loves to run the ball so much that they would run the ball when they're losing as well. So, it's just I think the Packers are going to win this. I think the Packers looked better week 1 than people anticipated. I know the receiver position is a little bit of I think there's the injuries to the receiver spot. But are y'all who's out this week? Do y'all have anybody?
Most notably, Christian Watson is not expected to
one.
play again today, and Aaron Jones is not expected either.
Yeah, so Christian Watson, that's a huge blow to that passing offense. But I still think that the Packers will be able to mount enough offense to be able to get a little bit of a lead. And then I think the Falcons are going to just kind of lose in a close one late because I don't think they should be able to recover from the deficit. So I'm going to go Packers.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where we find out if the Green Bay run defense is as good as advertised. They did a really good job of shoring up the run game against the Bears last week. It's one of the reasons that Justin Fields couldn't really get comfortable because, he scrambled a couple times in the first half. But he had to break like 3 tackles to do it. And then they really shored up the tackling, wrapped up properly in the second half. Rookie Luke Van Ness got his first career sack last year. And it was actually on a very impressive chase down out of the pocket on Justin Fields. So in my opinion, if you're good enough to chase down Justin Fields and bring him down from behind, hey, maybe I treated you too harshly back in April. But that remains to be seen. But like I said, this is going to be a big game to see, can they contain Bijan Robinson? Because Tyler Algier is no slouch at the running back position. So can they contain that pretty underrated 1-2 tandem at the running back position. All the while, can Jordan Love continue to show progression and look comfortable, and can they make it work without two of their top offensive weapons against this Falcons defense? I also like Packers plus 1.5.
Yeah, I was about to say, just throw that last part in there about how you're a fan of the Packers. But no, I'm with you though. I'm not with you. I'm with you. I agree because I just don't think the Falcons can throw the ball right now, and hopefully they have to, because now I need Kyle Pitts to do something. So preferably do more than you did last week.
We'll see. I got Drake London sitting on my bench because I don't trust Arthur Smith.
So, I don't have no choice.
Yeah. All right. Our good buddy of the show, Derek.
What's up,
Start
Becky?
2, sit 1. Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman, Brandon Ayuk.
I'll let you take this one first.
I'm a huge fan of all Chargers receivers this week. I believe they're playing the Titans. I think this offense is primed. You saw it last week. They did get the L last week against the Dolphins, but that was not because the offense let them down. That's because the defense let them down and let Tyreek run wild.
Yep.
Keenan Allen, I think I actually have him in my top 10 receivers this week. I think he's at like 9 or 10 or something like that. So Keenan Allen, for me, is a great one. As far as Pittman and Ayuk goes, Ayuk is a tough one, right? Because a lot of people are calling for the breakout this year. He showed great production week 1, 8 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, even without the touchdowns, the volume was there without the volatility, right?
Yep.
But my concern, I don't know, man, because Pittman had a bunch of targets last week. It's quite clear that Anthony Richardson feels comfortable with finding Pittman, as a fail-safe every single time, which is exactly what you want if you're a Michael Pittman manager, right? So, who the 49ers play today? Who is it? The Rams?
Yeah, the Rams.
So you also have 2 good matchups. I don't know. I might go Ayuk, actually. I think I'm going to go Ayuk. I want to see Anthony Richardson consistently find Pittman for a few games. I'm going to roll Keenan and Ayuk.
Yeah, I'll save you all the trouble. I'm not a Pittman fan, so this one was easy for me. That's why I wouldn't let you take it, because it's not much. I'm not a huge Pittman guy. I don't like that offense. I don't like Pittman. It's Allen and Ayuk, easy for me.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next game on the slate. We got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. Bills came out last week looking a little lackluster against the Jets. Josh Allen threw 3 picks. Stephon Diggs looked good, 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. But outside of that, there really wasn't much going for them as they took the L to the deflated New York Jets and allowed them to rally, giving up the win to Zach Wilson. What are you looking for in this Raiders Bills game?
So I need the Bills to show something. I need them to be able to not turn the ball over, move consistently on offense. The Raiders, I don't think the Raiders are very good at all. So I don't think that Buffalo will have an issue winning this game. The Buffalo's got to actually, at this point, though, get prepared for the tougher stretch of games. I mean, if they play like they did in week 1, then it's going to be tough sledding. But I think it's going to try to be able to see what the Bills are, see if they can find a little bit of an offensive a rhythm this week, and just see how good that team is. And then the Raiders, I think the Raiders are such a patchwork roster that they're just going to kind of be average, middling, 8 wins or so. And so I do believe that they're going to be a tough team, each week they play, but they're in Buffalo. The Bills are wanting to rebound off of last week. So yeah, I think Bills take this easy. I'm interested to see that Raiders offense again and see, because it was just very lackluster, to put it mildly, but that's what you get with Jimmy G as your quarterback. So Buffalo wins this easy. Raiders just aren't a fun team to watch right now, like at all. They're just, I don't know. I don't even like the flip Raiders games on. It's just they're just kind of there. Like I said, they're going to be a tough out, but Buffalo is much better. So
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree here. I think the Bills do win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders covered the 8-point spread, just because of how sloppy the Bills looked last week.
yeah.
But again, they're at home. They got the Bills Mafia, at their backs, ready to shout and scream their way through. Yeah, my official take is Bills -8, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders at least covered.
Yeah,
So
no, not at all.
yeah. All right. At a TSB world, need a flex QB. I'm assuming super flex. Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield. Thank you for your great work. Thank you for your great comment.
I'm taking Russ. I like
Yeah.
Russ over Baker most weeks, but yeah, Russell Wilson for sure for me.
Yeah. Broncos, they got what? The Commanders this week.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield has the Chicago Bears. The matchup kind of leans Baker,
Yep.
but I think Baker is no more than just he's a power generator for Chris Godwin and Mike Evans this year.
Mhm.
I don't know if he has any real fantasy value on his own. I think I loved what the Buccaneers did last week, by the way. Called it. That was my underdog of the week. Vikings are frauds. Moving on. And yeah, Baker Mayfield played fine. He did what he was supposed to do. He didn't turn the ball over. Told Byron Murphy Jr. to get his fucking weight up, little boy. That was great. I love when Baker Mayfield shit talks. When Baker Mayfield gets comfortable enough in a game to shit talk, like his shit talking is top tier.
He's a competitor, and so players like him thrive when there's that
Yes.
extra edge.
Absolutely. I wish he was more successful.
I can see that.
feel like he would be a lot higher in people's like mindsets if he actually showed it on the field a little more. And
Yeah, if he played good.
yeah, and I mean, like, part of it's his fault. Part of it's the fact that he had like 4 head coaches and 4 different systems in his first 3 years of the league.
Right.
But it is what it is, right? But yeah, Russell Wilson for me as well.
Yeah, it's and Baker for he's exciting to watch for some reason still, even though he's a bad quarterback. Baker's one of those weird stories, man. Reminds me of Manziel, where Manziel was still like must-see TV, but he was terrible.
Manziel walked so Baker could run. I'm convinced
Exactly.
of it. Okay, Greg, need 2 PPR. DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Jamal Williams, and Elijah Moore if Cooper doesn't play. So if Cooper doesn't play, Elijah Moore comes into the conversation. And I think, honestly, Elijah Moore is one of these 2 if Amari Cooper doesn't play. If Amari Cooper plays, different story. But I like the way that Kevin Stefanski was kind of facilitating touches for Elijah Moore. They were kind of using him in that Deebo Samuel kind of role from a few years ago. Put him in motion, run him out of the backfield, get him the ball in space. Kind of like what not everyone, what a bunch of casuals thought Kadarius Toney would be like this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even last year, man. People think we could stay healthy last year.
Yeah. You got to keep in mind, like Elijah Moore, the reason he left the Jets wasn't because he was bad.
Yeah.
It's because he and the coach did not get along and he just wasn't on the field because he requested a trade. They didn't trade him. And then he, in the offseason went over to Cleveland. So I think Elijah Moore is one of these plays for me. Probably going D-Hop on the other one just because there's no one else in that Titans offense to really generate outside of Derrick Henry. And, D-Hop put up a good week one. I think D-Hop's probably a safe play here.
Yeah, give me D-Hop.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I like D-Hop. It's easy. This one's easy for me. D-Hop over all these guys. Elijah Moore, like you said, probably is a close second. But if Cooper doesn't play, I'm putting him probably right there with D-Hop. D-Hop, of course, this week was on the injury report, so that's something you also got to factor in because I think up until Friday he was still had an injury designation and wasn't practicing up until Thursday. He wasn't as of Thursday, he wasn't practicing. So there's still you run that risk with somebody coming off an injury that you run into a T. Higgins situation where they come in for, like they did that. The Bengals did that with T. Higgins last year where he was on the injury report, but they said he was going to play and he got 0 points because he came in for like maybe a few snaps here and there, but didn't see the field at all. So you run that risk of them maybe aggravating it early on, and then you end up with nothing on your from that spot. So keep that in mind too. But D-Hop for me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the question, Greg. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Moving over. Good friend of the show. Good friend in real life too. Chris wants to know one flex: Jahan Dotson, Zay Flowers, or Elijah Moore. A lot of Elijah Moore in the comments today. I see.
Yeah. For real.
I'll let you take this one.
I really like Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers had a great week one, and the dude's just super talented. Like coming into, I think me and you had him, 3 or something on our coming in rookie rankings coming into the season.
Yeah, he was number 4 for me. Pre-draft. That was pre-draft.
Exactly. And so the talent is there. It's been there since college. So this should be no surprise to anybody. That Ravens offense is better than a lot of people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking Zay Flowers here. I love Zay Flowers' talent over these guys and his situation over these guys. So
yeah. So I don't know how I really feel about answering this question, knowing that this is for a league that I'm in where he's playing me this week. And so by giving you sound advice here, I'm like encouraging you to beat me. So I'm going to go. I'm looking at your roster right now. I think you should flex Dalton Schultz. I think he'll give you at least 30 and ready to go.
Hey, if that's fine. I'm a Texas fan. If Schultz comes out there and puts up 30, then that must mean we had a good game. So I'll take that.
Yeah. Now, in all seriousness, Zay Flowers. There it is. Commit to the podcast. Zay Flowers looked absolutely electric last week. They got him the ball when he needed it, in space, on screens, like all that stuff, and just let him go be Zay Flowers, which is great. That's exactly what you want out of it. OBJ only had 3 targets. Zay Flowers quite clearly was the favorite target for Lamar Jackson last week. The only question that you're going to have this week is how does that look with Mark Andrews in the mix? But we won't know until we see it, right? So that's how it is. All right. I think we actually accidentally skipped one here. Mike, start Darren Waller or Evan Ingram. Also, start Terry McLaurin, Tutu Atwell, or JSN at wide receiver 2.
I trust JSN more than that. Dude, I'm not a Terry McLaurin fan at all. Like, I've always been on the McLaurin, just get off the McLaurin bandwagon situation. So I saw McLaurin's name. Tutu Atwell, pretty, it's hard to really fire him up as a starter, I feel like, until we see maybe another week of him doing it. But I don't think you can start him over a guy like JSN yet. The upside's there, as we saw last week, but I have no idea how consistent Tutu Atwell is going to be. So yeah, just on that one. Sorry, I saw Terry McLaurin's name and I had to jump in there.
Yeah. As far as the receivers go, right? It's going to be JSN, McLaurin, Tutu Atwell.
Correct.
I'm going to throw a little slander at Tutu Atwell here for just a second. A couple things.
Waller for the first one. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. Waller against the Cardinals is a pretty easy one.
Money.
All right, Tutu Atwell. I was talking with a buddy of mine about Tutu Atwell just the other day, and he said it best. No one gives a fuck about Tutu Atwell. The dude is 160 pounds, soaking wet. He's just no. As soon as Cooper Kupp comes back, obviously that has nothing to do with this week. But as soon as Cooper Kupp comes back, they are like Puka Nacua is going to move into that. Like everyone expects Puka Nacua to move into that like Rob Woods wide receiver 2 type role.
Yep.
And
you got your slot guy in Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, but Matthew Stafford just doesn't like the slot guy. Like that's the thing. It's going to be Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and then probably a running back out of the backfield. Like it's going to be the Van Jefferson role basically, where it's going to be like 1 or 2 deep shots a week. And then you're really relying on the ever so volatile stat of touchdowns. And that's just not good when you're trying to put together a winning fantasy lineup.
Well, the thing with smaller guys is, they typically aren't as consistent because they're not really target hogs. Like they're really there to get in space and stuff like that, but it's not one of those things where the QB is going to target them, 9-10 times per week, because they're used for such a small use of the playbook, and so like I don't think there's ever going to be a consistent target flow there enough, even with Cooper Kupp out, to be able to be ahead of these guys. Now there's an opportunity he could blow up just like last week again, and we could be wrong, but I just think for consistency's sake, I think you're safer with JSN. And so I'm rocking with him, and Darren Waller's in my top 5 tight ends. So yeah, Waller easy there.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say on JSN is Tyler Lockett got hurt last week. So even if he does play, I don't know if he's playing or not, but if he does play, I think he'll still be kind of nursing that ankle, I believe it was. And so it's going to be the DK Metcalf and JSN show in a game against the 49ers where I fully expect them to be down all game long. Or no, I'm sorry. I was getting the Seahawks and Rams.
You're about to say mix it up.
Who the hell who the Lions? Yes. Okay. The fantasy gold mine of the week. Yeah, that's gonna be a shootout. Let me completely shift my point that I was trying to make. So that's gonna be a fantasy gold mine. Yeah, I would roll JSN on that one.
Yep, easy. Pulling up
Derek.
my sleeper here so I can make sure my lineup.
Oh yeah, I got ESPN and sleeper up on my other monitor here. I just need to actually start checking it more, I guess. Back to Derek. I think Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are getting equal shares as Michael Thomas. No more the days of old where Slant Boy gets all the looks. Also, he's always hurt. He did call him Thomas. I called him Slant Boy. So let's
Slant God.
That. I did actually kind of call my shot pretty large last week in saying Michael Thomas was going to have a Sammy Watkins week 1 type game.
1 second. Did Derek just call him Christian Olave?
He did. I thought it was a Christian Watson comment when I first started reading it. But
that's extremely aggressive, Derek. I'm gonna need you to calm down.
But yeah, Michael Thomas didn't do bad week 1. He got like 11, 13 points, something like that. Well, it wasn't to the extent that I, said, he might score, but it is what it is. We're going to move on from that.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I thought you meant we're about to move on comments. I was like, I didn't get to answer.
No, answer, please. I'm ready to I'm ready to move on from my week one misfire.
Oh, never mind. Wasn't a question. But I do agree. I think Michael Thomas is just like, I mean, he's been injured. He's getting older. He's not who he was. So yeah. Olave, I think, still is going to lead the team in targets. I think Rashid is going to be a nice second fiddle, but I want to see him more put up performances like that more before I can expect him to have a exact target share as Chris Olave, because Chris Olave's talent is absolutely ridiculous. Chris Olave is such a good receiver. People gave Garrett Wilson, most of the credit last year, but they had very similar numbers in a very similar situation with bad QBs. So yeah, Chris Olave is very good, but yeah, it is interesting to see Michael Thomas if he becomes third option.
Yeah. I want to see 15 targets for Mr. Christian Olave.
Yep.
All right. Chris, with a little
Nobody knows.
probing question here. Why are the Falcons favored against the Packers? Because everyone hates the Green Bay Packers.
Jordan Love's terrible.
That's my answer. Everyone hates the Green Bay Packers.
Jordan Love's terrible.
No.
That whole team's terrible. Sorry, Cheney.
Don't worry.
We'll don't let that luck of week. Hey, didn't y'all win week one last year? And then you came into work like freaking out about it. And I was like, Cheney, it's only week one. And they're like,
it was actually the polar opposite. They got decimated last week one against the Vikings. And I came into work and everyone was like, oh, they're all fucking, yeah. And I said, hold on now. Let's take the chill pill here, because they got decimated week one the year before that against the Saints. Yeah. And that's when you came in saying, well, no. Just because you lose week 1 2 years in a row doesn't mean the exact same thing's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you need to relax, Cheney. I think you're seeing it through green and yellow glasses. And I think you need to just kind of come back to reality. Realize that Aaron Rodgers is not coming back.
He's not coming back for the Jets either. So.
R.I.P.
to the GOAT. All right, moving on. Khalil Herbert or Antonio Gibson at running back, and
no, more McLaurin.
No. Yeah, a lot of McLaurin and versus JSN.
JSN, dude.
Still rolling JSN over McLaurin.
Oh, and Herbert. Gibson.
Yeah, do you have any other running backs outside of these two? Like
Gibson's one of my sits, of my 5 people I don't want to start.
Can you I don't know, go pick up Zach Moss or something?
Evan Hull, maybe.
Yeah, something. I don't like either of those guys. I think Roschon Johnson's going to outtouch Khalil Herbert as early as this week, if not within the coming weeks.
I think Herbert is better. I mean, not better. I think Herbert is in a better situation than what you think then in that case.
Yeah. No, if I have to pick between these two, it's probably going to be Khalil Herbert. Yep. Just because Antonio Gibson, what do you score, 0.4 PPR points last week or something like that? That was atrocious.
I don't have any so
yeah, I'm roll with Herbert on that one.
Yep, I have no Gibson shares for what it's worth. So
yeah, good old man, big friend of the show, John Quinn.
Yes, sir. Oh my God,
Johnny Buckets.
Bro, if I see McLaurin's name one more time.
Need 2 for the flex in the family league. Mostert, Justice Hill, McLaurin, or Sutton. To me, it's Justice Hill and Courtland Sutton.
Sutton for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you? Yeah, still Sutton. I'm still gonna go Sutton there.
Who's your second?
Rob. Man, it's tough to say Mostert.
I know.
I don't think I can quite trust him enough. So, man, that's tough though. Probably Justice Hill, if I had to pick.
Yeah, I think Justice Hill, simply because they're going to have a pretty split workload between him and Gus Edwards. But we saw Justice Hill get both goal line opportunities last week, in which he converted them both into touchdowns.
Right.
So I think Justice Hill, they get down on the goal line. He's good for 6 there. Courtland Sutton. Raheem Mostert, was having a pretty below average week last week, and then he kind of salvaged it with a touchdown to boost his numbers up to like 13 points or whatever. But I don't know if I trust him to do that again against the Patriots defense. So, yeah, I'm going to go Justice Hill Courtland side on that one.
Cool.
Damn, Chris, don't you ever like make your own fantasy decisions? I'm just kidding. That's what the show's here for. Is Tyler Algier a starter in 10-man PPR leagues? No. 12, 14-man leagues, different story. 10-man, no.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Moving on. Chris again. Also, Javonte Williams or Zay Flowers? Still rolling Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
Until Javonte like fully gets off of that pitch count and is fully back getting those 20 touches a game and actually showing the efficiency with it, it's going to be Zay Flowers on this one.
And as soon as he can, show us he can string some games together without getting hurt as well. But Javonte, of course, in most situations you're starting him, but not over Flowers. I tend to lead receiver more than running back anyways. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because wide receivers tend to be more they have higher floors. They tend to be more consistent than running backs. So keep that in mind too. Just the receiver position is much easier to get consistency on. If you look at like the end of season rankings for wide receiver, typically those stay in somewhat of a general order. But, as we know, this offseason, you got, your top 10 guys, you probably got one or two that actually end up in the top 10. So the running back is such a volatile position, especially with a running back off of a knee injury. And so, yeah, Zay Flowers for me.
For sure. All right. Man, it's awesome to see like the same people pop in here and stuff, like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It shows the retention and the loyalty of the fan base. What do you think we should call them? The fans of CheesyCorn Sports. The cheese kernels.
Yeah, right. The cheese kernels. No, I don't know. It's corn on the cob, Cheney. It's not that. We're just not canned corn. We
cheese on the cob.
Cheese on the cob. I don't know how that is a name for people. What's up, cheese on the cobs? Pause. No, but I don't know. I almost cussed. Sorry, apologize, YouTube.
I've cursed like maybe 15 times on this episode.
I don't know if YouTube would cancel me for it.
On YouTube?
Yeah, can they cancel me for dropping? I mean, can they demonetize? I
don't think so. I mean, like we marked it as this is not intended for kids. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I clicked that. I accepted the terms of service. I should know this.
I think as long as we stay away from derogatory slurs of any kind,
copyright.
I think we're pretty safe.
Yeah.
So, oh god,
we'll call y'all.
I don't even want to bring this question up, dude. No, this question doesn't deserve to get brought up on the screen. It's gonna happen.
Bring it up. Probably not. I mean, not in any of the leagues that he's in with me. That's for sure.
Are you two done?
Wouldn't you have to agree, Cheney?
No, I don't have to agree because I'm winning fucking 6 fantasy championships this year.
Bro, your team in our league is called what? I'm going 13-1, and you named it that before the season started, and you lost.
No, I named it. I'm going 14-0 prior to the season, and then after last week, I changed it to I'm going 13-1. And if I lose again, guess what? I'm going 12-2.
I thought you literally started the season with it like that. And I was like, well, there's the one loss already gone. So you got to win out now.
What? No.
I had the highest point total and I had the highest combined total of the team. And I don't even have Cooper Kupp playing.
You all are about to get fucking banned from these comment sections.
You can't ban me from the show. You need me, Cheney. I'm in the logo.
You're in the logo.
It'd be awkward if you had 2 people in the logo.
Thank you, John Quinn, for your amazing.
Hey, John Quinn, I appreciate that question. I hope you come back and ask a whole bunch more of that. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
You guys suck.
Good
All
talk.
right, let's move on to our sponsor segment of the show here. Justin, you want to do the honors of reading off Gigi's
Absolutely. So, good friend of mine from my boxing gym, very, very supportive friend, he's a great guy. And so he had a business, a vape shop business, and big government came and wanted to get him on a loophole and, you know, shut his business down, and now he has this new business. GG Seasoning is a part of his shop, Senegal and Beyond. His wife Gigi is from Senegal, and she spent years and years and years formulating this seasoning, and it's kind of a do-it-all seasoning. It's got a little bit of everything, you know, garlic powder, it's a mixed bag. It's a blend of seasoning, but it's more, salt, pepper, a lot of the stuff that you use in your normal, seasoning. So it replaces a few of those for me. It's kind of like almost a, seasoned Tony Sastry's where you can put it on everything, that type of deal. So, um, yeah, he was nice enough to give us a code so y'all can, order online and try to get you some and try it out. But again, he's a great guy and very, very hardworking, and so I know he'd appreciate it. And again, the seasoning's amazing. I've gone through 4 bottles now, so very, very good stuff. And good guy, and great shop there, Senegal and Beyond. It's out in Phoenix, Arizona. But the website, we can drop the website in the chat too, and then you see it right there. So yeah, go ahead and stop by and get you some.
Use code CheesyCorn, 10% off.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. Okay. Let's keep moving on through these games here, yeah? Where did we leave off last time? Raiders, Bills. Ooh, here's a good one. Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals favored by 3.
I got the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are going to have a great bounce back win. Ravens kind of looked lackluster as an overall team last week, especially against the Houston Texans. No offense to the Houston Texans, but
our defense is very good, though. I will say that.
Yeah. So I think Joe Burrow gets his legs under him. T. Higgins is going to catch at least one of his 8 targets. Jamar Chase is going to return to Jamar Chase form. Joe Mixon's still Joe Mixon, so can't really help you there. But yeah. So Cincinnati bounces back in this one. Over under in this one is only 45.5. I think the over is probably a pretty damn good play on this one, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Because I mean, that could be an overreaction to week 1 for the Bengals, because we know the Bengals aren't going to be like that all season. So,
well, it could be an overreaction to both, because Baltimore only scored like 26 against Houston.
Yeah, but they played a really good team. Calm down. Quit bringing that up.
Remains to be seen. John Quinn says Ravens are going to win that one. Wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I think Cincinnati's just going to bounce back on that one.
Yeah, I say that with not a whole lot of confidence when I pick Cincinnati, because that's going to be a very good game, though. That game's super interesting.
That's definitely going to be the one that, well, outside of Green Bay, that I'm probably going to be paying the most attention to. This actually, there's a lot of good games in the morning slate here.
Yeah, there is.
All right. Yeah, Garrett, a PPR league flex position. Algier in there right now. Only other options are Rashee Rice, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, and Van Jefferson. Oof.
Here I'm going Christian Kirk out of those. And then I'm going Christian Kirk out of those. Hollywood Brown, I don't know if I've ever picked Hollywood Brown on a single start-sit question since he's been in Arizona. And Van Jefferson, I'm just not a huge fan of, trying to be consistent.
Yeah. I think Hollywood Brown is still riding on the success of like a 6-week good performance. Yep. When D-Hop was suspended last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. Talent-wise, I would say Christian Kirk.
I think people are being a little too hard on him. I don't think what happened last week is what's going to be the case going forward. I know he is in a competition for targets, and Zay Jones, did what people didn't expect him to, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily going to be it going forward. I think everybody took that at face value as like, okay, this is what it is,
Yep. I think if you're looking for someone to get you 20 plus out of these guys, it's going to be Christian Kirk. And if you're looking for a safe, most likely to get you like 8 to 10 points, it'll be Algier. Van Jefferson, no, he didn't even get on the field over fucking Tutu Atwell and Nakua. So that's a definite no in my book. Hollywood Brown, you can make the argument, I guess, of, he's the wide receiver one in the offense, but that offense happens to be
it hasn't mattered any other week.
Fucking roster in the entire league.
Yeah, that hasn't happened. That hasn't mattered any other weeks, that he's wide receiver one, because that was his claim to fame. That's why everybody was so high on him.
Yeah.
At that one point. So
by the way, go ahead.
Oh, no. Continue this question, and then I'm going to throw something in there of something different. So go ahead.
Okay. I will say Rashee Rice did look good week one. Not really sure why Mahomes kept throwing it to Kadarius Toney instead of going to Rashee Rice, who seemed to be one of the only people that could actually catch in that offense. But as soon as he caught the touchdown, they stopped throwing it to him. So I need to see more from Rashee Rice. But so upside play, Christian Kirk, floor play, Tyler Algier.
Yep. I'm with that. And then the biggest thing that I wanted to do is I just want to give a shout out to our producer in the background, Corey. He is updating at the bottom. You see it there. He's updating this constantly with information, whether that be, active versus inactive or, tweets and stuff like that. So D-Hop, I saw down there, D-Hop is officially a go. So yeah, if y'all want to, as the show goes on, peek down there and you can see, just know that updates constantly and it's not just fixated and set. So that way you can continue to keep monitoring that throughout. So again, thanks to Corey for all he does. And just wanted to let y'all know that y'all can peek down there and stay updated on injuries and everything.
Yep. Corey's the absolute best. He wants us to give him a fucking Duval shout. I won't. I'm not going to do it.
Duval.
There you go. You got one. I'm not going to do it. But it is what it is. So, okay. Moving on. What's next on the slate here? Yes. Seattle Seahawks. The Detroit Lions. Not going to lie. Detroit didn't impress me as much as I thought they should have last week.
No.
They won. Yes, they beat the reigning Super Bowl champs at home week one. I get it. But the Chiefs lost that game more than the Lions won that game.
Yeah, because they're bad.
Yeah.
They got a bad quarterback.
David Montgomery looked very stagnant, averaged less than 4 yards per carry. Amon-Ra St. Brown looked elite as always.
Fun guy, baby.
But yeah, and that was really they didn't give the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. Hopefully they can get him some more touches this week. I would have expected more. People kept hyping up the Lions offense, right? Yeah. And so I was expecting more out of that offense with Chris Jones out.
Yep.
And that was really where it lied. Maybe they get it going, this week against the dog shit Seattle Seahawks. But we shall see. This was a very high scoring affair last year and the year before. I think there was over 90 total points scored last year in this matchup. And so Detroit's defense hasn't really gotten much better. So I'm looking for a lot of the same out of this. If you have any Detroit Lions players, any big name Detroit Lions players, fire them up. I love Jared Goff this week. I actually think I have him in my top 10 running back, or not running backs, top 10 quarterbacks. I think I have him at 10th or somewhere around there. He's a fringe QB1 play this week for sure. What you got?
So on this one, one thing I did want to point out, and apologies, I'll just let Corey know this now. My rankings that are in there right now, I didn't throw my new ones in there. So those are old guys for my rankings. Cheney's are updated. So apologies for that I didn't get them in there correctly. That was my last week's one. But for the Gibbs situation. So my thing on Gibbs is like I don't think it was he didn't get as many touches as I don't think it should have been a surprise. I think when Gibbs got drafted by Detroit, a lot of us said it didn't make sense, right? And we know with the Lions, Dan Campbell, we saw it last year, albeit a little bit of a different situation. Gibbs is far more talented. I will say that, but I do expect him to get more volume as the season goes along. But I'm just saying for week one, that I wasn't surprised by. And I think he will slowly take on a little bit more of that of a share. I think they're just trying to ease him into it right now. So, yeah, I like the Lions in this one. I don't like the 4.5 though.
Yeah, I think this game comes down to whoever has the ball last.
Yeah,
is going to really have the chance to go ahead and go out and win this game. So
yeah. If the Lions can improve their play, I wish my dogs would shut up. So apologies if you can hear them. If the Lions, because like you said, they didn't look good last week. I mean, they look good, but they didn't look good, like to where I can consistently say, like, yeah, I expect them to cover 5 points against a pretty solid Seahawks team. That's going to be hard to, blow out or win by 2 touchdowns. I think, like you said, I think this is going to be a 1-score game, 3-point game, something like that, 3 or 7 points. But that's why I'm not necessarily trusting the -4.5. But I do think the Lions win.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if I even want to bet a winning side in this. I'd rather just bet the over and call it a day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Kenneth Walker's workload too. Again, he looked like got the same workload as previous year.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right, moving on. Chargers -2.5 at the Tennessee Titans. I still have no idea if the Titans defense is good or if the Saints offense was just kind of slow coming out of the gate last week. And personally, I think the Chargers take this pretty handily. I don't think the Titans are a good team. And so, I mean, yeah, Austin Eckler is out, but Mr. Joshua Kelly, who surprised the hell out of me week one, not just with the
he did the same thing last year, but he did it to the Texans. He had like 200 yards against us in relief for Eckler.
Yeah. What surprised me was not necessarily the opportunities with Eckler in there, but also the efficiency that he had with it. I was going into this year not thinking Joshua Kelly was a good running back. I had him on the bench of one of my I think on one of my dynasty leagues, and his nickname on Sleeper. By the way, if you don't nickname your players on Sleeper, you're missing out. It's a great time. I do it on every single one of my leagues. It's kind of a staple of mine. But Joshua Kelly was literally nicknamed Shithead Number 2 on my bench. He just wasn't worthy of any other nickname to me. Now he is, but yeah, I think Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, and the other guy named Mike Williams are all going to absolutely eat in this game. John Quinn said it best right here, right? Chargers' biggest offseason improvement was Kellen Moore. Yeah. The issue in Dallas was not Kellen Moore. It was Dak Prescott, and you can't convince me otherwise.
But before I forget, can I just throw something on Josh Kelly?
Absolutely.
I will say exercise caution a little bit because, he had a couple touchdowns, right? But those were because Eckler ran like a 55-yarder,
Yep.
and then was gassed out, and then Kelly came in and they scored within the next couple plays because it was right there within the 10-yard line. And then the second touchdown was when Eckler initially banged his ankle up. He limped off the field, and then Kelly got another touchdown. So keep that in mind, that those touchdowns weren't just like, oh, he's our goal line guy. There was a reason Eckler came out in those situations. But again, the volume was there for Kelly. But I'm just saying, exercise caution, expecting what he did last week, because without those things happening, he probably doesn't have a touchdown. So yeah, remember that too. So Kelly, with guys like Josh Kelly, people, want to lock and load him as a surefire guy. And I don't think that's wrong, but I think it's in a flex spot, not an RB1 or 2 spot.
Yeah. I'm more excited about the receivers in this game than I am Joshua Kelly. I think Joshua Kelly does he floats into that top 24 RB for the week top type thing. Probably around RB like 15, 16 for me, just off of the volume that I think he is going to get this week. But that's really what I have on that one.
If I can talk a little bit more on the game itself, can you
Yes.
hear that in the background? There's a guy like with a weed eater or something. As long as y'all can't hear it, it's good. It's annoying the hell out of me though. But on the game itself, Chargers, again, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, QJ. The thing about Quentin Johnson that he still has not resolved from his time at TCU, though, is catching with his body. And I mean, we saw it in the preseason, just dropping balls left and right. He catches with his body too much. I'm never going to be confident in starting QJ for that reason. But Titans, just DeAndre Hopkins banged up. Like we said, he was a late week decision. So Tennessee, even with him, I'm not very confident in. So
Yeah,
I think the Chargers got this in the bag, even though Eckler's out. I think that team. I don't think that team's relying on Eckler. I think Eckler makes that team a lot better. So, but like we said, Josh Kelly, look what he did. Josh Kelly's talented, but he's not. He's not a guy that I think would be, if he was on another team as the starter, I don't think he would be like, we would be that confident in him. But his Charger team is very good. So Herbert, doesn't look the best at times, but Herbert's a great quarterback, and so I trust the Chargers. And I think -2.5 is not enough, but that's just me personally. So
I'm probably hammering that -2.5. That was one of the games I flirted with for lock of the week. But okay, let me take
give him a tutorial here. Hold on,
I'm gonna take y'all to school here for a second.
Let me pull up my sleeper while you're doing this, because I really need to make sure my lineup's set.
Yeah. So this is how it's gonna be from the desktop version, right? So we're gonna go up to the team here. Yes, my team name is the Sophomore Circle Jerk, mainly because I had a lot of like second-year guys like Garrett Wilson, Rashad White, James Cook. I have Chris Olave on there too. Like there's a lot of second-year guys.
I'm not pulling my name up in that league.
Yeah. But on desktop, if you go to the cogwheel by your team name, you can change your team name, change your logo, and then it'll pull up all your players below, and you can type in whatever you want. You see Puka Nacua is my little Pookie. I absolutely love that, by the way. Garrett Wilson, Rodgers' new butt buddy. That's kind of outdated now. Rest in peace. Mark Andrews, Marky Mark and the Young Bunch. James Cook, Dalvin Walk, so you can run, that sort of thing. Have fun with it. It is what it is. I have different nicknames. Oh, and by the way, if you have multiple shares of one player across your leagues, if you nickname them one thing in one league, it's going to give that nickname to them in another league. So if you do have a family league where you have a grandparent that, might be a little on the more, I grew up in a time where we didn't curse as much.
Derek's gonna name him probably the craziest shit out there because that's
Yeah.
what Derek does.
Shout out to my grandparents in my family league. I'm sorry if any of my player nicknames are over the line.
That
You
was
guys are
in
the best.
that was in the finest shitheads league, right?
No, so that was in my redraft PPR league that I've had going for like 5-6 years.
Oh, okay,
All my
good.
Navy buds.
Got it. So never mind, different one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm setting my lineup.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
we are less than an hour away from kickoff. If you guys need to set your lineups. All right, that's it. Corey, can we ban or at least mute Chris Owen here?
No. I'd say we spotlight his comments more.
I did. It's up there.
No,
Okay.
I said more. Just like we should leave him up there the entire show.
Shout out to our good friend Roa. Hello,
Those
sir. Thank you for coming into the show. All right. We got a question here. James Conner or Breece Hall this week? Full PPR.
Breece Hall.
Is it bad I want to go James Conner here?
I'm not picking James Conner.
I kind of want to go James Conner for the volume. Like, I don't know. He had a good amount of volume last week against the Commanders. I think the Commanders are a better team than the Giants. I don't know how much better. I don't think they're losing 40-0 to the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm going to say James Conner just because there's no other running back or player in that offense really that's going to consistently get the ball for you like 20 times. And Breece Hall's still kind of on that pitch count too. So until we see Breece Hall fully return to a 15 to 20 opportunity a game back, I have no issues desperate starting Breece Hall. But if I get to pick between a volume play and waiting for Breece Hall to rack off a 60-yard run, I'm going to pick the volume. So James Conner for me. Yeah.
Breece.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. What else we got here? Ooh. I love getting to throw slander at this team here. We got the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored at home by 2.5 points. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on this, Justin.
Bears. Yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Bears not good. Oh,
I
God.
had a great week last week.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't like. That's why I'm like, damn, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want to give you an opportunity to talk good about the Packers. But I won't give you that because the Bears are terrible. So Bears are horrible. Buccaneers are going to win this one basically by default because the Bears are terrible and the Bucs, they're not good. I mean, they're not that good. But I just think this is more about who the Bears are. Justin Fields didn't look all of that great, to put it lightly. I still think Fields is a lot better than he shows. I just think the Bears are terrible. And it's not that, I mean, there's no time for him back there. And then even when he does throw, it's just like the receivers aren't getting open. Nobody can create separation. I mean, if
Chase
you
Claypool
look at
just gives up.
Huh?
Chase Claypool just gives up mid.
Oh,
play.
yeah. Yeah, if you look at I kind of feel sorry for Fields. I think he needs to get off of that Bears team because people forget Fields in college was a great thrower of the ball. That man could sling it. So yeah, I got the Bucs in this one.
Yeah, I can support Justin Fields going to another team. I was actually a pretty big Justin Fields fan going into his draft. And it was a pretty big disappointment to see him go to the Chicago Bears.
He was my number one or number 2 QB that year for drafts because again, I think I told you the story, but Justin Fields, of course, played at Ohio State.
Yep.
I went to the Nebraska-Ohio State game when he was a senior there, or when he was right before he won the draft. And it was like a man amongst boys out there. He was just different. And I always liked him. I was just when he fell to like pick 16 or whatever it was, the Bears, can't remember 16, 30, whatever. When he fell that far, I felt kind of for him a little bit because I just don't think people give him the credit he deserves. And I think in Chicago, it's been a whole lot of that too, because last year, like me and you talked about, me and you coming into the season weren't as high on him because last year what he was doing, and we were talking about it last year, was like a lot of backyard football, unscheduled plays, and it's hard to trust somebody to be consistent when each week isn't a consistent game plan. When you're just flying by the seat of your pants, just trying to make plays, that's not going to be consistent. And so, like carrying over to this year, we couldn't take what happened last year into this year and factor it in my opinion, as much because of that. It wasn't a designed offense where he's producing. So.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Okay, we got a question here from Odie. Josh Kelly or Mike Williams, PPR?
I think Josh Kelly, because I think the Chargers are going to be playing with the lead. And so I do think they're going to be running Josh Kelly a fairly hefty margin for that reason alone, let alone I do think he's going to produce regardless. If I think the Chargers were an underdog, I'd probably go Mike Will, but with them being the favorite, I'm going Josh Kelly.
I think if you rostered Josh Kelly, why would you not play him in the game where he's supposed to be the lead back? You know what I mean?
Because it's Mike Williams. I mean, like this is a legitimate question because Josh Kelly is not anywhere remotely near Mike Williams as far as a start each week. So
yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's Josh Kelly for me as well.
Because let's say it's a flex spot, right? And you normally have Mike Williams there, and you have Eckler out, and you have Josh Kelly on your bench. Like that, you're going to question sitting. You're going to feel dumb. There's always that question back in your mind because you're going to feel dumb if you sit Mike Williams, and then Josh Kelly throws up a dud. So like, it's hard to move those guys that you would normally have locked and loaded as your flex starter out for somebody like Josh Kelly. So I can see why.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, though, Odie. Appreciate it.
Absolutely wonderful question. Moving on here. This is going to be a fun one, too. Like I said, we got a lot of fun games here in the morning slate. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, the return of Travis Kelce, 3-point favorites at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll let you take it.
Go ahead, Penny.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'll take it. I'll take it if you want me to get on my soapbox, but.
Tell you what, I'll answer because I'll have a professional, impartial, unbiased.
Mine's unbiased too.
And then I'll let you slander whoever you need to slander to get your morning started.
Why do you think I'm going to slander somebody?
That
idea.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley combination looked absolutely electric week one. They kind of shied away from it in the second half because they were winning. But I would expect more of the same this week. Kansas City's defense just did not look that good. Chris Jones does come back this week. However, there's questions of, like he didn't play during the preseason. He wasn't working out with the team at practice and the training camp and preseason and all that stuff. Like this was his first week back, really. And then you got Travis Kelce, who I believe I saw a tweet come across saying that Travis Kelce is going to be on a pitch count, coming back from that knee injury as well. So
I don't know if I trust that, but
yeah, probably not. It's going to take one drop from one other Kansas City Chief, and they're going to be like, all right, that's it. Throw Travis Kelce the ball 30 times. He's the only reliable option.
Or if it turns into a close game, which some of these do, they typically end up playing those guys much more. So game script is going to matter. So I don't think necessarily that it's a guarantee that Kelsey's going to be on a pitch count. So I think if he's out there, you're starting him automatically. But
yeah, absolutely. It's one of those like in big time moments, you put the ball in the hands of your big time players. You know what I mean? Let them go get you that win.
Especially when you have. Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that this is not the game to test other new weapons on your offense.
Correct.
This is the go with what you know works and go win the fucking football game.
Yep. Exactly. This one for me, Chiefs. So the problem is, when you're an NFL team and you have somebody who's terrible and completely horrible at your quarterback position, like Patrick Mahomes, um, that's going to be a problem. And then your wide receivers can't drop or can't catch. And Patrick Mahomes throws so poorly that his receivers unfortunately couldn't catch the ball. Kadarius Toney got blamed, but I digress. I'm just being a little heard, but Chiefs not, yeah. You know me, I'm always a Chiefs hater, saying I think that they are so reliant on Kelsey, that he's the what makes this team go, not Mahomes. I think Mahomes is very reliant on Kelsey too, and as we saw last week, what happened. But I think this week he will rebound a little bit. But I think the Jaguars are just. I like the Jaguars offense. Trevor Lawrence is consistently getting better. I think they'll involve Kirk a little bit more. Yeah, I just think Jaguars played well and the Chiefs didn't. And I just don't think the Chiefs are that good this year. So I'm going to go Jags on this one. I mean, when I say that good, I mean they're not going to win the Super Bowl again. I don't think they're there.
Yeah, I like the Jags +3 in this one. I also like the over in this one. I got a lot of shares of Trevor Lawrence this year.
Yeah.
And so I'm full steam ahead on that one for sure.
Yeah. I want to give a
question.
shout out. Can I give a shout out here one
Yes,
second?
go ahead.
So Jackson Johnson, I just want to give a shout out to him. Jackson Johnson, he has his own podcast. I could drop. We did an episode together. I went on his show, so I can drop that in here in a little bit. But he's very supportive. You know, he's always on the Nebraska, or he's always on the Voice College Football channel with Mark Rogers. So very knowledgeable about the game. Alabama fan, super knowledgeable about college football and stuff like that. So you know, Jackson Johnson, get over there and check out his channel. If you can click on his picture there and go and subscribe to him, and you check out our video we did together. It was it was a good conversation, more so about life than anything. So I just want to give a shout out to Jackson for always supporting and always you know, being a good dude and helping out. So
yeah, and if we want to drop the links to Justin's Voice College Football channel as well as Jackson's channel as well in the comments,
I'll get that for you.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
I'll get that cooked up now.
Thanks for watching today, Jackson. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Roa, Raheem Mostert versus New England or Khalil Herbert versus Tampa?
I'm sorry, distracted. Mostert. I was reading a comment. I was reading Derek's comment. Mostert versus New England or clear her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Roa. It's week 2, bud.
Roll the team away.
What are you doing with these bye week fillers?
Give me a Khalil. Damn it, bro! Like this is so tough.
I'm gonna
give me Herbert.
I'm gonna agree with you because I don't have the dog in me to fight for Raheem Mostert. So I'm gonna Khalil Herbert. It is, I guess.
Yeah, it's very much a toss up.
Hit that fucking waiver wire.
But because Khalil Herbert, you never know when the game might come where Roshan Johnson out touches him. And so each week it's going to be a little bit harder and harder to pick him depending on how it goes. But yeah, I just think Herbert right now. I think Khalil Herbert's got enough of it to where he can be. I think he has a higher floor than Mostert.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the last game of the morning slate. Colts at Texans. Texans, a 1-point favorite as per Caesar Sportsbook, as per yesterday. Don't know what the line moved this morning.
I was upset about that because I wanted them to be my underdog of the week, and we're 1-point favorites.
Yep. Underdogs are the hungry dogs, and the hungry dogs fight. That's what they do. They fight for their food, or whatever Jason Kelsey said during the that Super Bowl parade.
Yeah.
I'm sure John Quinn has that quote like tattooed on his chest or something.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, let's see here.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me know what you think about my team, Cheney. Let's hear it. How do you really feel?
I'm actually excited for this game. We get to see this is the first rookie QB matchup of the season. Two top 4 drafted quarterbacks out of this past draft. CJ Stroud had banged up his shoulder, I guess, this week at practice, but he is active, good to go. Anthony Richardson banged up his knee during week 1. But again, he said he's good to go, just a little bruise or whatever it was. Both Stroud and Richardson looked better than I anticipated them to in their very first NFL start. Stroud looked very comfortable, poised, made the right throws, was accurate, did a good job, just couldn't really find his way into the end zone. I'm looking for Houston to break through into the end zone this week, which I think they will in this game. It was just, tough defensive matchup in week 1.
Baltimore.
Right, exactly.
That's tough for rookie QB, man.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very telling game. Not only is it rookie QBs, it's a divisional matchup, so there's a little bit more hunger in that aspect as well. I'm excited for this one. I can't even make a prediction. I don't even know what the fuck's going to happen in this game. We're just going to wait and see, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat doing it.
Yep. I was texting Michael last week. Michael is a friend of ours, Colts fan.
Yes.
And I actually was impressed by Richardson. I will say that. He looked way better than Bryce Young. The thing about CJ Stroud is his final stat line was good, but some of the throws he were making and some of the timing, like, it is exceptional. A lot of the stuff he was doing, if people would have watched that game, it was great. It was just high level QB play. We did struggle from a few drops. We did have a few drops, and that also led to us not having a lot of touchdowns. But it was one of those things where it's just like he couldn't have a guy step up and make a play. It's like we couldn't just break that big play. And at some point, our offense would kind of fizzle out. We got to get better in the red zone. We haven't been good at the red zone in a few years, but I hate that Stroud is banged up. His right shoulder is, I believe it's right, is, he was a game, or not a game time decision, but was officially basically game time decision because it was not that long ago it was announced. So Tank Dell, I think we can get Tank Dell more involved. We got to get Schultz the ball more. Mechie, I believe, is back. Mechie was out week 1. Nico just looked great week 1. Nico is a solid receiver. I drafted him in Dynasty last year. And my love affair for Nico. I have not gotten off the Nico Collins train, and know that. I have not slandered his name one time. I'm a huge Nico guy. I just think he needed a quarterback. And we have one now. So it'll be interesting to see if Pierce, Pierce needs some touchdowns for fantasy too. So it'll be interesting to see how the offense decides to play and call the offense when we get into the red zone, we get into the goal line. We haven't quite seen that yet. So that'll be interesting to see. This game's a toss-up for me too. I think our defense is going to give Anthony Richardson fits. However, I think Richardson's legs are going to give us fits. Hopefully not, but that's what's been the Texans' kryptonite in years past. I think our defense is better now, and I think we have a defensive-minded coach who's making our defense a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to go Texans, of course. But again, I don't think it's going to be easy. I think this game is very, 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 very close.
Yeah, I am. I'm a big Nico Collins fan as well. Maybe not as big as you, just because the team.
Yeah.
But I'm actually firing Nico up in one of my flexes in one of my leagues this week. So I was impressed with the target share. By the way, if you follow me on Twitter, follow all of us on Twitter. Actually, I actually tweeted about Nico Collins last week, just talking about his target share. Really, 25% target share off of week 1 is definitely how you want to start the season.
Correct.
And I don't like Robert Woods actually looked relatively good as well. It was good to see him kind of shake off that Tennessee rust, where receivers really go to die is the Titans. So it was good to see Robert Woods kind of come back in week 1 and show that he's still got some juice left in the tank for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pick up the speed here, right?
All right. Can I say one thing about last week?
Sure.
Will Anderson is him. Will Anderson looked phenomenal in that game. Like he looked like an actual like all-pro edge rusher.
Yes, he did.
It was absurd. So yeah, thank you, Arizona Cardinals, for
change that man's middle name to Timothy.
That's right. Thank you, Arizona, for trading us that pick, because that dude is exceptional. So yeah.
Hemi Neutron blasting off. Absolutely.
Hemi Neutron.
Okay. We got about 30 minutes prior to kickoff. Let's go ahead. Let's get through these afternoon games here. Don't want to spend too much time on them, mainly because there's really only one game that's really like actually enticing to me in this one. But we will start here with the where they at 49ers -7 at Rams. This is Corn's lock of the week.
Yeah, lock of the week. 49ers over Rams, because the 49ers are very good. I think I was talking to, forget who it was, a buddy of mine. It was an Eagles fan, and I said I personally think that the Eagles, to me, look like a better version of what the 49ers do, which is just very fundamentally sound football. They can run when they need to. They can throw when they need to. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't really beat themselves. And they're just good all around. But, of course, Eagles have Hurts and a little bit better defensive line and just defense overall. I just think the 49ers are a hard team to beat, and I don't think the Rams are disciplined and good enough to stick with them. And I think the 49ers win this by more than 7. So yeah, 49ers are a deadlock for me.
Yeah, it's pretty clear cut.
7's hard. It's a hard spread to want to bet on, but I just the 49ers are just that good to me.
Yeah, the 7 points spread is actually why they weren't my lock of the week. If we were going like straight up like money line picks, like absolutely, I don't think
that's too easy though. That's too easy.
But
I wanted to make it a little like, I didn't want to be like, oh, lock of the weekend to be a 1-point spread. Like I'm like, let's get a little dicey here. And so I was like, dude, this one jumped out at me initially anyways, and I saw the 7. I'm like, we're going with it, whatever.
Yeah,
confident in it.
All right, we do have a question here from Derek: Brock Purdy or Justin Fields? Justin Fields. Yeah, Justin Fields. No shot against Brock Purdy.
His upside is just too insane, and I think Brock Purdy's upside is very, very limited.
Yeah. Brock Purdy kind of in that Baker Mayfield situation for me. Like, I'm not sure. I think he has more standalone value than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he's good. People don't throw his name in there with Baker. We can't do that.
I mean, like, let me explain here.
That man
situation-wise, right?
Like, first year.
He is there to fuel the offense. He is there to put the ball into the hands of the playmakers. He is not the playmaker himself. Justin Fields is probably the only playmaker on that Chicago Bears offense. I guess DJ Moore, but you have to throw more than 2 times his way to DJ Moore. So yeah, it's Fields, especially against the Bucks.
Still 7 line.
Okay, let's keep her flying.
Keep it moving.
Giants at Cardinals. The toilet bowl of the week.
Giants. The Cardinals are fucking horrible, dude.
Yeah.
The Giants are 4-point favorites and lost 40-0. That's how bad the Cardinals are. I hate the Cardinals so much.
I have Saquon as like my RB2 or 3 of the week. I don't remember which one exactly it is, but Saquon, I mean, obviously you're going to start Saquon regardless, but Saquon is going to have a huge week this week against the Cardinals' disgustingness of an NFL team. Yeah, over-under's 39.5 in this one. I hate over-unders below 40. I mean, them.
They got beat by more than their over-under last week. 40 and it's what, 39?
Yeah. But feed me Giants -4 for sure. All right. Well, this game would have been a lot more exciting had the GOAT not, bled his golden.
Here we go. With
Jets,
the Aaron Rodgers.
Jets at Cowboys -8.5. That is an exceptionally large spread for against a team that still beat the Buffalo Bills last week, in my opinion. I get that they're at home. I feel like this might be a bit of an overreaction to what the Dallas team did to the Giants. I think the Jets cover +8.5. I think it's too much points.
I think the Jets are very bad, and I think the Cowboys are very good. Right? I think the Cowboys are they were like the next tier down, and I'm a Cowboys hater. So, but I try to be objective with everything on here except for Patrick Mahomes.
Except for Kansas City, yeah.
But admittedly. But no, Dallas does what they do very well. They like to get a lead, control the game, and get behind their defense. And that's why I don't like the spread, because the Cowboys aren't typically, I know last week's score was crazy, but the Cowboys aren't one of those teams that typically runs it up on people, because they like to just control the game, play with the lead, and not make mistakes, not beat themselves, take advantage of opportunities. And they're normally the better team overall. And that's no different here. And I'm almost tempted to take the -8.5 still. But I will just, you know what? I'm gonna be crazy here. I'm gonna take the Cowboys -8.5. I think they're better than a lot of people. Like even last week, right? They were, the Giants didn't play well. The Giants shot themselves in the foot a lot. So that score was a lot bigger than it even should have been based on play. I just think the Giants made so many mistakes.
100%.
So yeah, Cowboys -8.5. I'll take that. Jets are horrible.
Yeah. All right. We have our very first trade request of the season. So let's break this down here. So you are receiving Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, and Kyle Pitts.
Is this dynasty or redraft?
This is redraft. I think I know the league this is. This is redraft.
Okay.
Redraft PPR. So receiving Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, and Kyle Pitts in exchange for A.J. Brown and Darren Waller.
Me personally, it depends on your roster setup. So I don't know if you need receiver depth, if you and how imperative it is at tight end. I don't know what your tight end situation is. So I'll break it down this way. For me, I am not a big Pittman guy. I said that earlier. Pitts, I'm a big Pitts guy. Even still, A.J. Brown, Waller, to me, is a good enough combination if you are okay with your depth. And the less amount of starters. So how many starters are in this league, Cheney?
This is 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, and 2 flex.
Oh, so okay. So in a league like that where there's not a whole lot of positions, you want heavy hitters more so. So in that case, it'd be A.J. Brown and Waller. I think in any case it is that. But however, in this situation, if you need the depth, then of course it's based on need. You would go Godwin, Pittman, and then you have the Pitts upside. But I think all around AJ Brown and Waller's a better deal.
So with Roa's permission, of course, he said we can go ahead and pull his team up here. So I got his team up here. It's got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown. It's got Zay Jones and Romeo Doubs on the flex. Darren Waller at tight end.
Yeah, it's about positional advantage and start 8. It's about positional advantage. And in start 8s, since there's less positions, you need more heavy hitters because everything comes down to your positional advantage, and every other team has a solid unit of wide receivers or running backs, or should, based on the number of players, because start 8, of course, less players get drafted, so better teams overall. When it's start 10, when it gets over start 10, then you're more worried about depth. So in this case, you're sticking with AJ Brown and Waller. I think you should be more prone to upgrade your running back position.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Aaron Jones, who's out this week, and then he'll have Kamara when he comes back. But
even still, I would try to shore up that a little bit more because your receivers look good.
Yep, absolutely. Love the Romeo Doubs play by the way, this week with Christian Watson and Aaron Jones out. Romeo Doubs going to eat.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We have a question here. Super CNB Challenger, sit 1. Okay, so we're sitting 1. Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Breece Hall.
Montgomery, yeah. Miles Sanders, I love Miles Sanders this year. Cheney, I drafted him. The contract alone was enough for me to want Miles Sanders because that was enough for me to know that he was going to be used. Miles Sanders is going to be very good this year. So Miles Sanders locked and loaded. Breece Hall would be locked and loaded more often than not. However, not the best matchup. And of course, he's on a snap count. But David Montgomery, I'm starting Breece Hall, Miles Sanders every day over David Montgomery if they're on the field.
Yep.
But
I agree.
Appreciate your question.
I think I'll take a different approach with it here. When it comes to David Montgomery, right, we're seeing these reports that Jahmyr Gibbs over time is going to get more and more touches.
Yep.
As of 3 days ago, Dan Campbell said that's starting this week. And so what that means is someone is going to have to play less so he can play more.
Yep.
That is David Montgomery. He'll still get the goal line touches and all that stuff. But as far as, 2nd and 8 on the 40-yard line, that's not going to be Montgomery as much anymore.
Correct.
I'm sitting David Montgomery. Appreciate the question. Absolutely love the engagement of it. Okay.
Yeah, I will say with the Sanders stuff, that is one thing to pay attention to when these running backs get signed. If they're, if it's 11 million, he's probably going to be used a lot. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I come into the season. And also they don't have a lot of whole other options in that offense. So,
yeah. All right. Moving on. Last game of the afternoon slate also happens to be my underdog of the week, the Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos. Broncos favored by 3.5. Justin, what are you looking for in this game here?
So with the Broncos, I want to see what Judy looks like, and I want to see what the offense looks like with Judy back out there. That will be a very big tell to me how this team is going to look going forward, and also Russell Wilson, because again, we expected Russell Wilson to be better than he was last year. So, and then Javonte, just to see what kind of usage, how Javonte's usage goes over the course of the season. Is it going to get better? Are they going to keep him kind of limited? We'll see that as the season goes along. But Commanders, me and you were very high on the Commanders.
Yep.
Coming into the season, me especially, it was just like I like that team overall. I think Sam Howell's better than people give him credit for. I don't think they played very well week 1. Running backs, I mean, they got 2 good running backs. And so I think the Commanders make this a game and potentially pull it out in a close one. So I like the Commanders to cover. However, I would not be surprised if the Broncos with Judy back out there just have a really good game at home, and it ends up being that's the big distinction to me. I think if it was in Washington, I would probably pick them, but since it's in Denver, I think Broncos will cover.
Yeah. That offensive line did not look good against Max Crosby and the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, we know Max Crosby is an absolute monster, but it's still the Las Vegas Raiders, and that offensive line couldn't hold. Russ was in a lot of danger. Russ, shout out.
Subway.
Pretty early on. So one of my favorite things about this Commanders defense is that defensive front. Montez Sweat and Deron Payne specifically, as well as Jonathan Allen. But yeah, it's Chase Young's back this week too. So there's that. So that's take huge. Out Max Crosby, the monster, and insert Chase Young, the monster.
That's huge.
So for me, Commanders, I think Sam Howell is going to get better. That offense is going to get better as the season goes along and as they play more and more with each other. Broncos defense really doesn't scare me that much. So it is the Commanders for me. Okay. We got some questions here, and then we got the 3 primetime games. We got Monday night doubleheader and Sunday night as well. Before that happens, I'd like to thank each and every single one of you for dropping into the live stream today. If you guys like the comment, if you guys like the advice, if you guys just want to talk shit, whatever it is, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us. Well, I mean, don't worry about comments because you guys are already commenting in the live chat. So you don't have to worry about that. But for sure, like, subscribe, follow us on all socials. We're dropping content throughout the week across all platforms, in addition to our live streams every Sunday morning.
Exclusively live streams going forward.
Yes. Yes. But if you want additional shit talking via Twitter, via Facebook, all that stuff, go ahead and give us a follow. It's usually a good time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We do have some questions here. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. Chaka. I remember Chaka from last year. What's up, man? Start 2 PPR. Josh Kelly, Javonte Williams, Romeo Dobbs, Elijah Moore, Courtland Sutton. Great team, by the way. And would you sit Garrett Wilson for any of these guys?
Nope. On the second one.
Yeah. I'm not sitting Garrett Wilson. So if that takes away one of those like start 2 type things, it is what it is. But ranking those 5, that is insane depth, by the way, at least to start this year out. Let's see here.
Give me by the way, I'll just go ahead and take my part of this. Javonte and Kelly. Again, the reason I like Kelly is because I expect the Chargers to be playing with a lead, and I expect him to get a lot of touches there as they try to run that clock down, later in the game. So again, normally I wouldn't start Josh Kelly. If they were the underdogs, I wouldn't. But in this situation, when I think they're going to be playing with the lead, I think Josh Kelly's going to get a ton of opportunities. And, again, I think the Broncos offense this week is going to be better because of Judy. And I think that's going to give Javonte more opportunities. So,
yes,
I like those 2.
I personally like Josh Kelly and Romeo Dobbs this week. Romeo Dobbs specifically because Christian Watson and Aaron Jones are not playing.
That is true, yeah.
Any of the passing game work is going to go through Luke Musgrave, Jaden Reed, or Romeo Dobbs. Romeo Dobbs is the most experienced out of those guys. Great red zone receiver, as well as we saw him with some great catches last week for 2 touchdowns. I think Romeo Dobbs is definitely a good one here. But Josh and Kelly for the volume, for sure. Moving on. Triple Hunts. Zay Flowers or Josh Kelly?
Flowers.
Yep, Flowers. Easy day. We talked about him earlier in the show. Yeah. Zay Flowers. Loved what he did in PPR formats.
Again, Triple Hunts. First off, appreciate the question too. But in this instance, Flowers, what I said earlier is I prefer receivers over running backs typically in my flex because they tend to be more consistent. in the last question, I didn't have any of the receivers that I liked as much as I like Flowers. So in this instance, I'll take Flowers over Kelly just because I'm betting on the more talented person in this instance. And I think Baltimore is going to use him a ton in many different ways. So
Yes, sir.
thanks again for the question. I appreciate that.
Question here specifically for Justin from Derek. Thinking about starting McLaurin.
Oh my God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much. How did I know it would be? When I said that earlier, I was like, it's going to be him or John Quinn, 100%.
Absolutely. All right, back to the real question. EJ Music, Dynasty, full PPR, need to start 2 wide receivers. Wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen, and Brandon Ayuk. Flex is filled with Chubb. Thank you. Amon-Ra and Keenan Allen.
Agreed. Amon-Ra, Keenan Allen this week is going to be exceptional. I just, that they're going to be, all of those pass catchers are going to be getting good usage. So, but Amon-Ra is a never sit. My love affair with Amon-Ra goes deep. Last year on the pod, I picked him basically every week as my bet of the week to go over 6.5, either 5.5 or 6.5 receptions. And like each week he did it except for like one. So Sun God is one of my favorite receivers. I traded for him week 1 of last year in our dynasty and got, and you snuck him away from me, unfortunately, in our other league. Because I went and got Eckler, drafted Eckler, but yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sun God does not touch the bench in my leagues.
Yeah. I have St. Brown and Keenan Allen, both of my top 10 receivers for this week. So it's not a slight against Brandon Ayuk, but I think they're going to, as they get up in this game, I think the 49ers are just going to kind of
they're going to
go to a running script.
They're going to play with the lead,
And the Lions and Seahawks is going to be a shootout. Chargers and Titans, I think, is also going to be very pass heavy as well. So, going to go with those 2.
And then Keenan Allen's just a PPR, he's a PPR
absolutely.
guy
until he gets his inevitable week 6 knee injury or hamstring injury. You're rolling Keenan Allen. JJ Peets, Hopkins or Pittman?
D-Hop.
D-Hop.
Even though like the only hesitation. By the way, EJ, appreciate your question. If I didn't say that, but JJ, I appreciate your question too. But D-Hop, the injury is the only thing that scares me because then again we run the opportunity that he is out there as a decoy or re-aggravates it. But regardless, I'm not a Pittman guy, and our defense is very solid. The Texans defense is very solid. Give me D-Hop.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Questions are filled for now. We have about 10 minutes till kickoff. Let's get through our start and sits of the week. Well, okay. I want to talk about one primetime game specifically. It's my lock of the week. And also on the other side, your underdog of the week. Saints -3 at Panthers. I have Saints -3 as my lock of the week. Looks like you have Panthers as your underdog of the week.
Interesting. I think the Saints, I do think the Saints are good, but I'm not locked and loaded as a Saints where I feel like I'm confident picking them against, a Panthers team that I do think is better than people give them credit for. And so I think in this week, last week it was, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Rashid. Yeah. Rashid. Shaheed. I kept on saying Shaheed. And I keep confusing his name with Richie James for some reason. I have them both on my roster, and it's the R. I don't know what it is. It's throwing me the hell off. But I think the Panthers are going to upset the Saints this week in Carolina. I think this is a perfect storm. I think the Saints are, in my opinion, they're not as good as I like in my eyes as a lot of other people. So yeah, Panthers this week.
I personally think I'm one of those people that thinks the Saints are a lot better. I have thrown so much slander at Derek Carr over the years, mainly because it's fun to mess with Raider fans. but I do think that this Saints offense is better with Derek Carr in it. You also have the unfortunate news that CheesyCorn from the Carolina Panthers is on the IR.
It's unfortunate.
So he's so talented, he just can't stay healthy, unfortunately. So I think that's going to open up a lot for one Christian Olave, and I think this game is pretty much a lock at -3.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Let's
But not
go.
correct. I was waiting for you to see if you catch that.
Let's get one more question here. Mike Evans or Mike Williams?
Williams. I'm so torn, dude.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think you can go wrong with either one, honestly.
I just think Mike Williams is in much more of a situation with target share issues than Evans. So I trust Evans a little bit more. But again, the game this week for the Chargers is an excellent matchup.
For sure.
I think I'm playing with the lead.
Yeah, I think I'll probably roll. I talked up that Chargers offense so much. I think I have to roll Mike Williams at this point. Yeah, so we're going to do that.
We do have Keenan Allen at 7, so I mean,
at 7, that's what it was. Yeah,
he does account for the majority of them.
Right, absolutely. Oh, I love this comment here from Jackson. Like and comment and subscribe to CheesyCorn Sports. Let's get it.
Oh yeah, baby.
Subs.
Let's go.
Love that.
Let's go, baby.
That's what I like to see.
Appreciate you, Jackson.
Huge shout out to Jackson.
Yep.
Okay. Was there anything else? Oh, our starts and sits for the week.
Yep.
Duh. Let's go ahead. Let's get into Justin's start of the week. Talk us through it real quick. Just a minute or two.
Jake Ferguson. He is the tight end 1.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about that. So we did find out he's the tight end 1 for Dallas. I just think at some point in the season, Dak is going to do what he does, and he's going to go to his tight ends. And once Jake Ferguson is intertwined in this offense, I think he's going to be a serviceable tight end, starting tight end. And so I think as you know, I had him as my start of the week last week until I pivoted. So I'm going to put him as my start of the week this week. Jake Ferguson versus the Jets. I do think he's going to have a game that's going to put him on the map, and a lot more people are going to start paying attention. And I think that starts here.
All right. My start of the week, Rachaad White. Shout out to the ASU legend.
You love Rachaad White.
I love Rachaad White so much.
Over a year it's been going on.
Loved what he did last year with the target share out of the backfield last year as a rookie behind Leonard Fournette was very promising coming into this year. The opportunities he had in week 1 was very promising. He had 18 opportunities as well. Yep. The efficiency was not quite there. And so the player for my sit that we're going to get to had a very similar week 1. Lots of opportunities, very little efficiency.
Yep.
But Rachaad White has a very favorable matchup this week against Chicago Bears, who can't stop anything. And I think if there is any week for Rachaad White to break out, this is one of the best opportunities for that to happen. Yep. So let's get into your sit of the week.
Dalvin Cook. Yeah. I mean, what more is there to say other than the fact that they're playing a very stout defense? Aaron Rodgers is out. Breece Hall is in competition with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook would not touch my lineup this week if I had him. So my sit of the week, without a doubt, Dalvin Cook.
All right. And wrapping that up, my sit of the week, like I said, same situation of week 1 as Rachaad White. Cam Akers up against the San Francisco 49ers this week. Had a lot of touches. Salvaged his week last week with a touchdown pretty late. But looked like Kyron Williams is going to be a bigger nuisance in that offense than previously thought by myself. Now up against a San Francisco defense, top 3 defense in the league, if not top 1 defense in the league. I'm sitting Cam Akers this week for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Ready for some rapid fire questions before we have to get out of here?
I dropped some answers in there just in case we didn't get to them. So,
Okay,
but we can
cool.
go.
So let's talk us through Jake Ferguson or Evan Ingram.
Ingram.
Yep.
He's top. I got Ingram as a top 5 tight end this week. So.
Yep. So that's the thing with these starts and sits, right? Like, if you have a stud over them,
yeah,
don't start these guys over your studs.
Yeah,
Always
these are guys that you
start
have
your
on the
studs.
bench that can possibly be thrown in there.
Yeah, I consider Evan Ingram a stud at the tight end position just because it's so thin this year. I think I have him at like tight end 5 on the season for this year. So Evan Ingram, definitely.
Yep.
Caden the Colts fan, thanks for the question, dude. Josh Kelly, Dameon Pierce, or Tyler Lockett?
Josh Kelly.
I might roll Dameon Pierce on that one.
So for me, right, I want to see the Texans offense get into more consistent scoring range before I can trust Pierce, because Pierce is going to need touchdowns to compete with a lot of the guys he needs to compete with in his area. And I just think Josh Kelly this week is going to have a better game. Well, I think he's in a better situation to have a better game, but I do think there's going to be a game where Pierce just goes berserk and finally does unload 2 touchdowns. But this week, I feel more confident in Josh Kelly. Again, they're playing with the lead most of the game, so he'll get touches.
Okay, sounds good. And last but not least, Jets defense or Bills defense?
Bills.
Yeah, Bills defense, especially against the Raiders. Yeah, it's Bills defense here. I think Justin's camera knows that it is. It's time to get out of here.
I'm frozen. I won't unfreeze me.
Yeah, so. I think it knows that it's time for game time.
Yeah, it's shut me down here, guys.
So yeah, with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one. Whoa, nope.
What
there
happened?
We go. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you for coming on into the live stream today. You guys, we love all the engagement, really. And we hope you lose. But Justin, you got any thoughts for the crowd?
I do not, other than go Texans and hope the Chiefs lose. So, but I hope all y'all win y'all week, and like and subscribe, and come back next week and let us help you answer some more. So,
yes, sir. All right. Thank you, everyone. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We will catch you guys next week.
Peace.